We're going to stop here for a second. I am feeling disappointed, and I am disappointed mean exactly the same thing. Yo! Good to have you joining us tonight. This is Kelsey Payne, and I am here to enjoy a perusing of sorts. We are going to be deep diving a little bit into Duolingo tonight. After all those incredible changes they made, people are just raving about how Duolingo has gotten better. I lie. But I am going to, it's a Sunday night. I've got some grape juice. I'm going to be looking into Duolingo tonight. I've been using Duolingo for a long time now, somewhat for personal, a lot primarily for my classes. I am a Japanese teacher right now by trade among my many vocations, and so in my courses, one thing I enjoyed about Duolingo, and have enjoyed up to this point, is that school platform where you can create a class, and hundreds of students have joined in the past, and you have this kind of feeling of community, but there's some competition, and you don't have to worry, you don't have to manage it like a Discord server. It's just been great. And then the Duolingo content itself is not bad. So that's my professional interest in looking into Duolingo tonight, checking out to see what kind of structural changes have gone on here. Is it worth holding on to, or should I move on? We've been using it for a number of years now, at least a couple of years. Maybe it's time to switch platforms. The other reason I'm going to look into it is actually personal. I know a couple of languages, and when I say that, I don't like playing into the whole YouTube, how many languages can you speak and all that jazz. Okay, so some of us understand languages better than we speak it, and some of us speak it better than we understand it. Some of us use it for academic reasons, and some of us use different languages for colloquial, regular conversational reasons, and everyone's a little different like that. Japanese is definitely my strongest language. Second to that is perhaps German. I'm pretty spotty when it comes to conversation, but I can read more or less well, and could probably survive if I were living in Germany, living in the German. And I can read a little Korean, but not to save my life. And Chinese is probably my third if I had to rank them. But I definitely need Chinese subtitles if I'm watching a show or something in Chinese. I can read the characters better than I can pick up the conversation just by hearing it. That's due a lot to the Japanese studies. So anyway, on yada yada. So personally, I maybe started using Duolingo 4 or 5 years ago. And at the time, I don't know if you remember this, but it's the only language I tested out of. I basically went to the very last castle turret thing, whatever that was, checkpoint, and I essentially tested out. It was not the most difficult material, and it was engaging enough that I enjoyed that last test. But then if you were using it back in the day, you might remember, if you got that far, that it gave you a little certificate. Duolingo would have a certificate, and the CEO would have it signed, would have his name signed on it, or she, I don't remember at the time, and then your name was on it, the language you just conquered supposedly was on it, and I'm sure a lot of people got those certificates not actually knowing the language very well they got it in, but it doesn't, it was still something. It's something to show, because, if you're a language learner, there are rewards, but they're not always as tangible as all of that. Well, speaking of the tangibility, the apparent tangibility of that certificate, that was replaced at some point within only a year, I think, less than that it feels like, where they had this little digitized trophy thing. Okay, so great. So before you had the trophy certificate, now it's it's this little trophy, and the certificate's gone. You click on it and it flies around, and that's it. And so it's like your own personal, I don't know, NFT or something. And it's basically worthless, of course, but it was still yours, kind of. Well, apparently not, actually, because now it's gone. Mine is, anyway, and it seems that a couple of people maybe also complained about that. I'll show my screen in a second so you can see what I'm talking about. But they set me back to, I think it was level 34, 39. We'll see in a second. And to be honest, there have just been so many complaints from my students about the whole new structuring. I can't assign things very well. I can assign XP challenges, but I can't actually like tell them, hey, why don't you work on hiragana, the third batch of hiragana cards this week or this month or whatever. It's not a thing now. Duolingo stories. This was the real. I've been saying to my students, this is the straw that broke the camel's back for me when they made it. From what I can tell, what I've heard, is that the stories, which used to be accessible, you of course had to have a certain number of crowns, you could get the stories. I always thought that was kind of bizarre, but whatever. I'm of the philosophy that you should be learning through stories, and so if you're having to earn your way to stories, there's something already controversial for me around that, but whatever. But now, apparently, you really do have to earn the stories. Apparently, you can only get to them when you get to a certain point of each stage. I guess I'll see here in a second. Frustrating. Just absolutely, I don't like that idea. So if that's what it turns out to be, that may be the deal breaker in my book. If you are on my wavelength, then you are going to learn Japanese or German or Chinese by watching a lot of shows and reading a lot of subtitles and spending a lot of time extensively reading and doing all sorts of things to get in as much media as possible, doing, of course, some focus study as well. But, there's no one size fits all, but at the same time, so many of my students have reported that when they do sometimes I offer formal study as well, but when they go on and do formal study, even with somebody else, they have reported back saying, this was so much easier than any experience I've had learning languages before because I already recognized what we were talking about. And so when I did the grammar study or I learned new vocab, it was really already somewhere in there to begin with. And it was more like a third, fourth, fifth, maybe a whatever, 100th exposure in some cases. And that's really neat, and that's just proved the efficacy of the methods that I've been ascribing to. But you know what? Enough about me. Let's jump in here. Let's see what's going on with Duolingo and see if this is worth continuing to rock out on or not. Okay, so let's get into this. And I'm experimenting, by the way, with this new software. I haven't even really tested it before. It was free. We'll see how it goes. I suspect the quality might be hindered, but do what you can do. Here we are. Okay, so I duck-duck-goed this question. Duolingo. Lost my trophy. That felt pretty general. I figured I'd find some good results. Here we already have right at the top of the page. I didn't look much farther than this because, let's be honest, this is the heart of the matter. I lost my trophy. I lost my German trophies. Somebody's apparently complained about this before. I don't know how recent this was. I'm actually still kind of confused as to when the changes took place. Now, what happened when I clicked on this? Page is offline. The discussion forums are no longer available. Check out the Duolingo blog for exciting updates from our team or visit our help center. Or click on the button back to Duolingo. Okay, so we're not going to be talking to each other anymore, guys. It's all over. I mean, I wasn't that deeply engaged with the Duolingo community to begin with, but the whole point was, social media and all its pitfalls, there's a reason people get engaged in stuff. It's great to be able to talk to each other. I don't know why this would be gone. Surely it's not for complaint reasons, but regardless. Lost my trophy. I'm with you. Hashtag lost my trophy. I'm going to do it. Let's see. Somebody else just a couple of days ago, 10 days ago now, said on the Duolingo Reddit, the new interface is atrocious. I've lost my progress. What the hell? This was by, who's this by? UT9row? Okay. I have not checked if I should censor this ahead of time. I'm just going to stay here. I was using my Duolingo this morning and all was just fine. Now when I loaded it up this afternoon, everything has gone to hell. I seem to have lost about half of my progress on multiple trees. I think? No. Trust me, UT9 row, I know. If you had a trophy, you lost it. Probably. The interface is so difficult to traverse. Ooh, great word, traverse. I love that word. That it's honestly hard to tell. Please tell me there is some way to reverse this. Well, dear UT9 row, I really highly doubt that there's any way to reverse the traversing of this journey Duolingo is on. Let's be honest, there's not a lot that you pay for Duolingo unless you're on premium, and I've never used premium. Duolingo only has reasons to change if there's a really tremendously. Let me actually stop myself there. The ads are important, right? It's why Google is free. It's why Google Docs are free. Everything Google is free. Facebook is free. Twitter is free. Why is all this stuff free? Because of the ads, right? I know this is preaching to the choir perhaps, but I don't see any reason why Duolingo, if they made such major changes, and they have, I mean, the animation and everything else, let's go on and take a look. I see no reason why they would go to such lengths as creating all of this new structure and, just reverse it or let you reverse it. Yeah, sorry, friend. Hashtag lost my trophy. Hashtag lost my progress. Hashtag what the hell. So, it looks like Unit 39 is where they took me back to. Now, I've looked at nothing beyond this. I can see, I have myself on the list of assignments and stuff too, so I'm on the desktop version. I can see my assignments are limited completely to the XP challenges. Of course, there could be, I did delete some of the other assignments, if only because I realized they weren't working anymore. So maybe that's why I don't see them here. So maybe I'm complaining for no reason in that venue. Okay, so Unit 39, express feelings, discuss politics. Whew, I do not want to discuss politics, but I do want to know how far down this goes. This is a very tiny scroll bar on the right here. Oh my goodness. Okay, so going. We're at 48. We're at 57. We're at, I feel like I'm in the Matrix reading these numbers as they're scrolling by. 85. Oh, I think I finally reached the end. Unit 90. Unit 90. Shop at a convenience store and talk about food. I've done both of those before. So, do I dare go in and test this out? I think I will. But before I do, though, I need to get a layout of the land. I need to figure out what exactly did they do. Okay. All right. So check. What are these? What are the treasure boxes? And what the hell is Duolingo doing? What is the owl doing? Oh, he's a cheerleader. I see. Okay, he's cheerleading, and here he's sneezing on a butterfly. All right. Terrific. Okay, now they've got, guidebooks. Okay, so is this like their version of like a grammar book sort of thing? Explore grammar tips and key phrases for this unit. Okay, that could be, I like phrases. Let me give a +1 here. I like phrases. Phrases are inherently more interesting and effective and useful than words. If I thought more people would memorize phrases that I threw at them, I would do that more often. As it were, we most of the time in my classes focus at the beginning quite a bit on vocabulary, but then we end up using it and learning phrases along the way. Nonetheless, I am all about phrases, so this is nice. I assume I can hit this and it'll...
去年結婚しました。
Good. I would have been very disappointed if it read the English. All right. Cool. Why is this one on the right-hand side?
先週、彼氏と別れました。
I don't know. Oh, I see. So this is like someone on the left-hand side's talking and then someone on the right-hand side's talking about getting married and then breaking up with someone. I don't like the English being shown immediately here. I feel like at the very least you should have to click on something to look at the English, because if you've been studying Japanese up to this point, it'd be super important that you continue to challenge yourself, and this is not one of Duolingo's strengths. So I'm really harping on something that there it is, grape juice. Harping on something that they've never been good at, which is saying too much too soon. But you should at least have to click on something for the English so that you're at first and prompted to challenge yourself first. What does kyonen mean? What does kekkon mean? Kyonen is last year. Kekkon means marriage. So you should be prompted for those first so that you think about them before you're just given the answer. Gram and Gramps, it's a tip. Our elders deserve... Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, I agree. Japan's all about, respect for the elderly and stuff. Yeah. All right, I like this. So we learned both words.
おじいさん、
Oh, thank you. So you're going to tell me how it's
お
pronounced.
じいさん、
Hover over it. That's not bad.
祖父、
Sofu. And see, this is how they should always be. It should always be like you
お
hover
じい
over
さ
it,
ん、
and you can hear it, and most importantly, you don't see the English before you hover over it. Totally down with this. What the heck is that? Why is there a little tilde above the I? That is so not legit to me. Now it looks like Spanish. No offense to be taken by Spanish. I mean, nothing offensive to Spanish, but we don't use tildes in Japanese. That is a mark against it immediately. Sorry.
祖父、
Yeah. Sofu sobo. We got it. Should also use oba-san and oji-san when talking about other people's grandparents, of course. Good. And example phrases. Again, don't show the English right away. Oh, well, pronounce it though.
彼女はジョンさんのおばあさんです。
I like that. That's nice.
彼
What is
女
this
はジョン
part?
さんのおばあさんです。
Okay, so you see the macron there instead of the... That's cool. That's legit. You can use a macron like that. A little line above the vowel. Totally legit. As long as you get the sense that there's a difference between the two. That there's technically a second vowel in there. Anyway. What is this? Why does it say she is John's grandmother again? Let's just be the programming. Key phrases. Okay, they do more phrases. Te form. Ooh, they're going to talk about te form. Most excellent. Yeah, there's good grammar in here. Again, I feel like you need to do a lot of extensive stuff first, and then you can come back and really enjoy the grammar instead of feel like you have to learn it, but whatever. So, hamburger o tabemasu. They'll go from that to yushoku o tabete kudasai. Okay, very nice. They'll talk about the different te forms for different types of verbs. That's very nice. Okay, what are you doing? To say what you're doing right now, take the te form and put imas on the end. Excellent. So they're going into a lot of detail here. This can be a lot at one time. At the same time, it's relevant. I mean, it's not like they're doing like, here's te form, and then, well, they did a little bit. They kind of went from, here's how you talk about other people's grandparents and then your own grandparents. And now we're going to talk about te form. But I think they did all right, splitting those up. And then running from te form into the continuous form, as we call it, by putting iru or imasu at the end. That's at least relevant. That works. So you have an immediate application. In addition to like tabete kudasai, please eat it. You have another application, another grammatical form that you can rely on there. Still, that's a lot for one go. So I will assume that each of these just like really nails those points really super well, so you feel very comfortable with them by the end. I might just look at one. I'm just going to look at one that supposedly, great job, you completed this. Oh man, I'm incredible. I'm so good, I didn't even have to do it. Okay, well, obviously, they're not going... Wait, so they're not going to let me review stuff? That's kind of sus. Level up. Okay, so I would just have to do the checkpoint. Oh, I see. Reach for... Ooh. And then I can get a legendary trophy. I'm sorry, Duo. It doesn't cut it. You took my past Japanese completely trophy away. So I'm not interested in your level 17 legendary trophy. You can keep that. I kind of want my original. What is he doing? These characters, by the way, have gotten a little bit over the top for me. Like I've enjoyed them in Duolingo stories for the most part, but I feel like they're just trying to they're becoming more and more cartoony, far more than even before. And now I've come to like I feel like a little like they're treating me a little bit like a child. Like I need to be entertained by these characters instead of like intrigued by the language. Do they really think that even when I'm bored or I'm done or I'm just like sick, so if I'm following my own regime and really doing at least, 20 to 30 minutes of language study for the evening and I'm not up for it, do they think this is what's going to keep me going? Is Duolingo in this going into fetal position here? What is this? All right, moving on. Okay, so I get it now. I think I get it. I mean, I won't really get it, I guess, until I do it. I still don't know what the treasure chest is. You know what? Let's go back to 39. I'm going to test out. I promise you. I'm not just dilly-dallying here. I really want to just know what I'm going to be looking at, though, when I get to that point. 39. I just want to see what it's going to do. So let's go to start. Daijoubu desu means
寂しい
no problem. Sabishi. All right, so they give me the kanji form. This is kind of an improvement, actually. They seem to assume that I don't know hiragana yet, though. So this is 39 is pretty far down the road. I would expect that to be out of 90, 40 out of 90. I would expect that to be closer to intermediate level at this point. Why would you need Romaji? Is there a setting for that? Maybe I can turn that off. Show pronunciation. Okay, that's cool. So I can just sort of like turn that off or something. I'll keep it on for now. Just in case I end up finding it more daunting than I suspect I will. Thank you very
寂
much.
しい
Let's go on fast mode here and see if we can just fly through this.
寂しい
恋、答え、寂しい、天皇。がっかりした。
We're going to stop here for a second. I am feeling disappointed and I am disappointed mean exactly the same thing. No, it literally doesn't say がっかりと感じています. I get it, but are you really going to... I'm going to report it. My answer should be accepted. Absolutely. Semantically speaking, I don't see what's different.
眠いの恋の味は苦い。あなたに恋しています。あなたに恋し
ます
I hate this. I don't know why it's driving me nuts. This breaking up of the individual, like the verb forms, maybe they just couldn't think of a better way to do it, but it throws me off.
生徒たちはとても眠かったです。心配しないよ。私は不安な気持ちだった。一人で外国生活をするのは寂しい。
Isolating? Why not stick with lonely? That sounds more natural even in English.
恋。いや、助け、寂しい、恋。
So this is really interesting. They are still testing me on hiragana and kanji. This is a negative point for me. I really strongly believe, at least with Japanese, let's be honest, there aren't a lot of languages like Japanese where you have so many character sets to have to be concerned about. And if you, by the way, are new to Japanese or know nothing about Japanese yet, there are technically 4 character sets if you include the Latin alphabet, which I do. They use it on a daily basis, so why shouldn't that be included? And if you say because it's not indigenous to Japan, well, neither is kanji. Those are Chinese characters, so ha. Anyway, my point, though, is always learn your kana first, and know those pat before you start to worry about kanji, because you can always, make do with all the furigana that's out there. Those are when they have the reading above the kanji. But if you don't know kana, you're not likely to be able to read that furigana. So anyway, I think they're not getting their priorities quite straight on this, but maybe I guess it's just review. It's kind of a dumb review in my opinion, but whatever.
悲しい気持ちや不安になってはいけません。そんなに心配しないでください。がっかりした。
There you go, Duo. I am disappointed. I'm not feeling disappointed, though. Huh. Okay. Fantastic. Besides that little speed bump. Okay, so everything feels pretty approximately the same so far. There's not too much difference. One day, yeah, whatever. Skip this. I don't really care. You've unlocked a gift. Thanks. Okay, so this really does resemble majorly the way that it was working before. However, clearly, at this point, like the fact that I can't choose anymore. So what I recall is that if you accomplished one lesson at least one time, then based on what percentage with which you've completed it, you would often have a choice to choose between other lessons. And I loved that choice. It was always a choice, I believe, between only two things, but still a choice is very empowering. And if I would rather in the moment learn more about, say, feelings words than, I don't know, clothing, then it would be empowering to be able to choose which of those I learn next. That's what taking responsibility and managing and controlling your own language learning actually to a very, very, very minimal extent. That's what it looks like. So why take that away? So that's another negative point for me. I don't like this linear, over-linearized way of approaching this. There's clearly only one path to the mountain in Duolingo, and everywhere else in reality, that's just not true. One path to the mountain is not what we say, is it? One path to the top of the mountain. All right. Do I dare jump to Unit 40? No. I'm jumping to Unit 90. Yes, we're going to do it. Of course, that's where the trophy used to be. So it's in the same outline as it was before. I've got to assume complete all levels above to unlock this. So I still have to do, apparently, my due diligence here. But I'm going to do it. I want it badly enough. And while tonight I may not attain the trophy, I'll certainly make another video where I do. But let's just see how I do at testing out of this stuff. I'm starting to get a sense, though. It's not really... Yeah, thanks a lot. It's not really that different from how it was before, is my sense of it. Not really. Shoujo. All right.
症状
Oh, you're going to say it out loud for me.
治療
That makes it hard, doesn't it?